friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to start off by saying that most of the content, in fact all of the content that I'll be speaking about is not rehearsed, is not scripted. I find that when I try to script things, it actually comes out more muddled and less from my true self. So forgive me if I go on some tangents or temporarily pause. I like to keep it as live as possible because I feel it's more of my authentic self, more of a real-time scenario. So from my last video, I talked briefly about metaphysics, and I lightly touched on the signs and symptoms of the unseen. The unseen is basically anything that is not within our five senses, which is, some would call it the etheric, some would call it another dimension, different reality, out of the matrix. So today what I'll talk about is the concept of seeing repetitive numbers, which is quite a common phenomena for some people, i.e. seeing 1111 or 111 or 222 or 33 or 555, any reoccurring number sequence which can be seen either on a t-shirt, on a number plate of a car, on, of course, the alarm clock on your phone, on a digital radio, anything that shows a number sequence, even on TV. And I wanted to elaborate on what this is and what it's got to do with the unseen. A recurring number sequence, let's start with the most common, which would be 111, is basically a message from the other side, being your angels, spirit guides, spirit itself, your higher self, sending you messages. And it's up to you whether you want to delve into uncoding what it means. So if we start with 1111, which is very common, or 111 or 111, if you look at the way the numbers are presented, it's almost like 1-1. They're like gates. The gates to a new beginning, a new start, a new dimension, a new you, much like a caterpillar to a butterfly. And it's about you obviously being present at that moment, and it also accelerates your current thoughts at that point in time. So whenever you have a number sequence, whatever it may be, and each number has a different obviously meaning, which we'll leave that for another video, because each number has a specific meaning, which can also be looked up if you're super keen on numerology websites or other spiritual teachers. Doreen Virtue is very good at the angel numbers, and also other mentors of mine, which would be Ralph Smart and Josie Grouse. So it basically means that if we take the 111, new beginning, it also amplifies your current thoughts and feelings, because the feeling is more important, and that is amplified because you may be thinking, or you may be in a positive state, or you may appear, you may have that facade of positiveness or happiness, but really deep down inside you, are you really positive? Because the feelings is a lot of the times, well, not a lot of times, it is a true manifestation as to how you really feel. As I've learned through my journey is your inner world represents your outer world. So how you're, and what you're thinking, the world is the way you think it is. So the way you interpret it internally, if for instance you're sad or angry, you're going to have an outward projection of anger, not only in your body language, but you're also going to attract that. So it's very important when you see that number sequence to keep your thoughts positive, because it is like an amplified signal from yourself up to spirit, to the universe. You're sending out an amplified energetic signal, and this can obviously tie into what you want. At that point in time, you may want to say to yourself that I manifest a positive relationship, or I might manifest financial abundance, or a better career, or a heightening of clientele, or a better health for oneself, better relationships with your partner and within the community. So basically, when you see the 1111, keep your thoughts and feelings positive, and also realize that you are changing. Being that we're in the age of Aquarius, which is just the point in time in the Mayan calendar, it's known as the information age. And being that the universe speaks to, well, it used to speak to us in numbers. Before there was the word, there was numbers. And human evolution still is quite primitive in the sense that it communicates with the same language as it has for many centuries. So the communications that we're receiving is still in the old language, which is numbers. And after numbers it was the sound, and after sound it was obviously, we have the creation of matter and so on and so forth. But just to stop diverging, the numbers that you see means that you're changing, your consciousness is heightening, you're entering into a new state of self. You're seeing the world for more than what it is, which some would term, it's a matrix, it's a hologram, which is not entirely a hologram. Some people can just write off a lot of things by saying, oh yeah, it's what's the use, it's all an illusion anyway. It isn't entirely an illusion, but it can mean to some people that the illusion is that we get caught up too much in what is around us with our senses. So that's why we're trying to cultivate this discussion about the unseen, because the unseen allows us to have a better, holistic, fulfilled understanding of our life experience, which is what we're trying to achieve through this channel, is to inspire and enlighten and illuminate people more about themselves, not only by understanding themselves as a spiritual being living a human experience, but also being able to understand the spiritual aspect of ourselves. And by spiritual, I'm being neutral to religion. My views is not to conflict with any obvious, no religion whatsoever, but it's basically to have a spiritual understanding with the metaphysical and the unseen. So hope this gives you a bit of background. Although I've only talked about the 1111, it's regardless of any recurring number combination, it all means to obviously pay attention to our thoughts. The number 33 is also something that's very, very talked about. It's very not debated about. Obviously, a lot of conspiracy theory groups such as the Masons and the Illuminati use the number 33 as the highest level of the degree of the Masonry, and also they were onto something, because there's also 33 bones in the spinal column, and there's also 22 bones in our head as well, which is also very, one would say, very coincidental, but it's not. There's no such thing as coincidences. Everything is connected. And so with the recurrences in numbers, once again, we want to reinforce that you are changing as a person. You're becoming more spiritually aware, consciously aware, physically aware, and mentally aware. So basically, it's also a good idea if you want to enhance the number sequence, is not to obsess about it and not to constantly look at your watch. Oh, what time is it? Because that actually repels the actual process that's going on behind the scenes. You're obviously repelling it. So try and keep your mental health state positive by exercising, eating good food, obviously avoiding fast food, avoiding anything that subdues us as a being, basically. And what we mean by what subdues us is overly consuming ourselves with bad food, fast food, as I mentioned, overstimulation of social media, overconsumption of pop culture, TV. All of these things are distractions and deflections, in my personal opinion, to allowing us to achieve that heightened state, or some would say towards the path of enlightenment, or towards the path of a greater conscious awareness. So by keeping ourselves well nourished, engaging in healthy mental practices through either meditation, even yoga, transcendental meditation, and eating the proper foods, it allows us to live in the state of a more allowing process, allowing us to receive the signals if we choose to accept it, so that we can achieve a greater understanding and awareness of the unseen. Thanks for watching, guys. Until the next video, take care.